What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Brother Calvin, in the virtual building with another episode of The Faith Factor. Right now, I got my friends, my fam, and my church fam in the building. Let's see if they're ready. We're going to go ahead and bring them in and get started. Because, you know, Instagram, we going to need a lot of time. So I got my peoples in the building. Our special guest tonight for this episode, none other than the power couple, the faith couple. Brand is in the building, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, family.
Hey,
What's going on with y'all?
Everything's everything.
Everything's everything. We good, man.
I hear you. First, let me say on behalf of me and my family that I love you. And I know your family is going through a tough time right now. And I just want y'all to be encouraged in this moment.
Appreciate you, bro.
Thank you, bro. We love you. Thank you for your prayers. Really appreciate that. That last week was definitely trying, you know, for my family. But God.
Hey.
But God. God is a healer. God is a way maker.
Yes,
God
he is.
A miracle worker. You know, so God is amazing. He's able, and he definitely worked it out, man. He worked it out.
Absolutely. So for my audience, you are watching and listening to none other than Dan Hall and Kashia Bradsher-Hall, my fam from the Kingdom Life Church. Now, let me tell, I like doing my origin stories when I have my guests on. I'll let the audience know how I actually met y'all. So here's the story.
Come on now, bro.
Come on. So I love telling this story because of many reasons. So I was new to our church and I hadn't joined the church yet. I was visiting, you know, feeling drawn there, but just taking my time. So one Sunday I didn't feel like being in church. I was going through a lot. And I was standing next to Kashia, Dan, and their daughters. Okay. So their daughters were in between me and them. I'll just say that. So at the time, I was just, you know, going through whatever I was going through and hearing whatever I needed to hear from the Lord. And Kashia had no idea. She had an idea in the spirit, but she didn't have any idea because I didn't know her. So it was time for prayer, like corporate prayer. And so they were like, you know, grab the hand of your neighbor. And I already know my personal protocol when it comes to kids is I don't know what the teaching is in their house. So I don't make a child that I don't know hold my hand or anything like that. So I just bowed my head. I looked down for a quick second and then to see if she was trying to grab, you know, just not to be rude or anything. And then I just went ahead and prayed. And so I noticed a couple seconds later that Kashia had switched her daughter out with her, and she grabbed my hand and was praying. And I was like, wow. And you know, you try the spirits by the spirit. So when the connection happened, it was comfort. It wasn't like, who's this? What's going on in my row? It was, I didn't even open my eyes until the end. I'm like, either the daughter grabbed my hand, somebody grabbed my hand. That's normal church protocol as well. If you see somebody, you might grab their hand. So whatever. So anyway, the story, let me end the story. She had no idea at that time that I was going through. And when we became friends, I told Dan and Kashia the story of what it meant for them to listen to the voice of the Lord in that moment. You never know who's going through. You never know who's at the edge of breaking down. And you just hearing God and just being obedient and just showing that love you have in your heart can change somebody's life. And so now we fam. I'm their little brother or their brother. I don't know who's older, but I'm their brother. And we've been tight ever since. We support each other. We have conversations. They've cooked for me. Hallelujah. Come on. Can I get a witness? Hey.
Oh, you did
for the feast. Hey. Brandon Waddy in the building. He said, what's up, fam? What's going on? Brandon Waddy's our photographer. That's my homeboy from back in the day when I first started modeling. Anyway. So I think I ended the story. So that's how we became family, everybody. They are the creators, the visionary of Royal Descent brand. So at this time, I want Dan to go ahead and take them to the parking lot, man. We met in the parking lot at the church one day, and Dan just went in. I'm like, so what is the brand, man? He like, look, check it out, and just went in. So if you can tell us the meaning and all of that.
Well, I'm gonna actually go back before the parking lot.
Okay.
The organic beginning of everything.
Right.
And so what happened? Kashia has conversation, raw, authentic truth, right?
Yes.
So I think when God had blessed her with that, and she was working on thing for that, and actually Kimberly Smith, another member of the church, was
Calvin.
Yeah, with that I just got off from work and I came through the door. So Kashia was talking to Kimberly and telling her, the things that God had placed in her heart to do. You know what I'm saying? And they was going over that. She was discussing it with her, and I'm sitting at the table listening to their conversation. So Kim just turned to me and said, Dan, well, what's your purpose? And I just drew a blank. Blank because I didn't have the answer for that.
Okay.
So I always pray to God, and I will pray to him for his guidance, his wisdom, and his will for my life. But I knew what is his purpose for my life.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So after that encounter, a light bulb went off in my head. I'm like, man, I gotta pray and ask God, what's my purpose? Because I really don't know what my purpose is. So I incorporated that in my prayers, and I started asking God, what is your purpose for my life? At the end of the day, our only purpose here on this earth is to do his will.
Yes.
But to do his will for our lives and what he wants us to do. That's why we have to stay in tune with him so we can know what that purpose is and have that. So I started praying for his purpose. So one morning, actually it was in the morning, I was laying in the bed, and God had, if you have a connection with God, it's like it ain't like he's actually in your ear talking to you. Like, he just placed a calm, still voice in your head. Like, I want you to do a clothing line. I'm like, me? I never even thought of doing no clothing line or anything of that nature. I'm a union HVAC guy, and that's who I was. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I came upstairs, right? And I just started doodling. And he had put royalty in my mind. So I started writing royalty. And doodling that on the paper. I put a t-shirt, wrote royalty on it, drew the little, a little logo and all of that nature. And I was like, man, royalty. I said, somebody probably got royalty. I mean, is it me in my own head? You know what I'm saying? So I was thinking that I was, you know what I'm saying? But God confirms everything that he gives you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you recall, but when we was reading, when Pastor had us reading the books, it was like 9 books that he wanted us to read. So I was reading the books, and I couldn't get through the first book or whatever, right? In Genesis, he had me reading Genesis. I couldn't get through. Pastor wanted me to read because I was in Genesis, and that's where God wanted me at. And I was in Genesis. You know how sometimes you might read the Bible, but you don't really have true understanding. You know what I'm saying? You read it and you don't. It depends. You might not leave with nothing. You know what I'm saying? Right. You know what I'm saying? But as I was reading Genesis, he was giving me understanding of everything that I was reading. And he was teaching me about the different covenants. When he told Abraham to go outside, count the stars in the sky. That's how I'm going to make you father of nations. I'm going to make you father of nations, and throughout your lineage there will be royalty. And to fall under that covenant that I'm making with you, every male child has to be circumcised. Well, every has to be circumcised to fall under the covenant that God made with himself to Abraham. So I was like, oh man, then the light bulbs start going off. That's why we're circumcised, because we're just so, but I still didn't put 2 and 2 together right then and there. I just knew God, you know what I'm saying? I knew that he wanted me to do a thing. You know what I'm saying? before I even produced my first piece of clothing, he was teaching me. He was teaching me why. So everything that I was learning in Genesis and God was teaching me, end up, I went to church and Pastor was the same thing God was teaching me. He was basically everything that God had downloaded in me. God, Pastor would give me, because God confirms everything that He gives you, confirming everything that He was teaching me in Genesis. And then it came plain as day. He said, he was teaching on Abraham, same things that I was reading, and he said, we're basically descendants because we are of royal descent. And God, I got that still whisper in my ear, right? Again, there it is. Yeah, and that's where the name came from, because we're descendants of royalty. That's a message that God want us to know as His chosen people. So all right, so fast forward to the parking lot, right?
Hey, you better parking lot.
So basically, I think that's when I had the clothing. I had a few pieces, and I was letting you guys look at it, check it out, see if you like it or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And y'all out, and I just told you the story, about how God wants us to, He gave me this line for us to walk in our truth. I mean, we, believe in the narrative that other folks have placed on us for so many years, to make us feel like we're less than, not knowing, even our kids in school. We're going to get deep on here tonight. Even our kids in school, everything that they're being taught is that our history started from a slave ship.
Absolutely.
They're not being taught that, that we're descendants of royalty, that we were kings and queens. I recently released a shirt with King Mansa Musa on it.
I seen it.
A lot of people don't even know, and it's sad that us, even going through school, we have, I don't really believe in Black History Month because I think Black history is being made every day. So I don't believe in Black History Month. But it's sad that even during the month that they try to give us, they don't even teach us of a man. This man, King Mansa Musa, to this day, nobody matched this man's wealth. You can get your Bill Gates, you can get all of them. Nobody never was as rich as this Black king from Africa. Going through school, how don't we learn of things like that?
That kills me.
Yeah, that's what you know, because and the whole purpose of me doing this line is like to enlighten my people and just to let them know, we got to stop believing the narrative that's been placed in front of us, that we're capable to do anything that we can. I pray that, my bad, bro. About that.
You're going to have to leave it there.
I had to leave it there. One second, give me 1 second, bro.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, we got to stop believing the narrative that's been placed on us, as far as feel like we're less than. Our kids going through life. Imagine going through life just not knowing your true heritage. All you know is that what you've been taught and what's been placed in front of you, that you're less than, some of the narratives that have been placed on us, our Black people, systemically, and all the things, which leads up to all the things that we're going through right now, with the George Floyd situation.
Right.
But, I just wanted, when God placed on me to create the clothing line, I just wanted, just to bring a positivity to our community and to let us know that, a higher empowerment, that we could do all things if we just apply.
Yes.
We could do all things, so Rose Instagram, man, it's just been, I just wanted to bless, God to use me to bless our people so we can, walk in the power that He has for us and that He's placed in front of us. Narratives that's been placed on us and the negative stigma that's been placed on us, just to put something positive in the community for help people, just for people in general.
Absolutely. So what are some of the biggest lessons you've learned, both of y'all, since beginning your journey of having a vision from the Lord and then jumping out on faith to where you are now?
Lessons I've learned is the one key lesson that I could say I've learned is for us to be connected to God and to hear His voice when He's speaking to us, and to read His Word, because that's the only true way that you're going to be connected with Him. And know that it's Him when He's speaking to you. And to be obedient, because to me I feel like obedience is key. A lot of times on things because we get caught up in our own thing and our plans and what we plan to do in life, when really it's all about what God's plan is for you.
Absolutely.
That's the only way I feel for you to live a fulfilled life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, to be
right. So as we move forward, tell the people everywhere they can reach you, all your sites, all your social media.
You can reach me at www.royaldescentbrand.com. That's the website. You can meet me at reach me at on Instagram. You can reach me at royaldescent_brand.
Absolutely. So, what were some of the struggles that you endured during this process of launching a business?
Just a learning curve, But even during those struggles, I was blessed to have people who was already in this industry, to give me some of the information that I needed. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a hard thing to find. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes we got that crab in a barrel mentality where it's though all right, but you can't do better than me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Have, you know what I'm saying? They don't want you to do better than them.
That competitive.
But I've been blessed. The competitive spirit. But I've been blessed to encounter some guys, man, who really to me, taught me the ropes and got me basically, point me where I am, with the power of God.
Can I say, Calvin?
Absolutely.
Husband, all what he said when you asked that question, I was going to say obedience, definitely obedience, and like you said, being connected to the Most High. It's so important. You know what I'm saying? It's so important to be connected to God, because oftentimes in life we can get distracted, or our visions can get distorted by everybody else doing. Our visions get distorted by the social media. Our visions get distorted by the different the things that we're seeing. We're putting in our eye gates. But like my husband said, and our ear gates, obedience and being connected to Him and being led by His Spirit is so key when you're talking about purpose, because of all the different things that we see and we watch. You know what I'm saying? It's so important for us to be in tune to the Holy Spirit, so we will know His voice instead of knowing man's voice. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
That's definitely key. And the other thing is, when God gives you a vision, a wise woman has always taught us this. When God gives you the vision, because before the foundations of the earth, He knew what we would be. Already purpose in each and every last. He got a purpose for you, Calvin. You walking in it. It's still unfolding. He has a purpose for this man, my husband.
Yes.
It's unfolding. He has a purpose for me, for everybody that's on your line. He has
Come on.
Us individually.
Yeah.
Individually, right? And we're truly led by His Spirit, and we're walking in that purpose. This God gives us, when God gives us the vision, He gives us the provision.
Yes.
Put by a very wise woman, my mother. When He gives vision, He gives us the provision. As long as we're walking by, not by might, nor by power, but by my Spirit. When you are and you're truly hearing what He has for you, it won't leave no room for you to be competitive. I'm in my own lane. This man in his
Come on. Come on.
because we are all, and we are all fearful. God knew what he was doing when he created us individually. We're fearfully and wonderfully made, right?
Yes.
All those purposes that we have, when we truly are connected, we won't have no room to look and see what anybody else doing unless we just celebrating them. We won't have no room to compete and compare.
Right.
Because we're in our own, we're walking in our purpose. We're working towards our purpose. We're not being distracted by looking to the left or the right. We in tune to the spirit. We walk and we follow in his direction. He's leading. So we have no room for any of that when we are truly being led by his spirit.
Yeah, tunnel vision.
Tunnel vision. You
Come
understand?
on, tunnel. Yes.
I'm just saying, like, we walk by faith, not by faith. And that was important because all of our purpose, it works out.
Mm-hmm.
Kingdom. When you and him. And I'm speaking of, it works out for the kingdom. It works out your purpose, his purpose, my purpose. It works out for the greater good. And so we have to look at what anybody else is doing unless we celebrate them.
Mm-hmm.
We can't really be happy because God did it. He created you the way he knew what he needed out of Calvin.
Come on.
He knew that Calvin would be faith factor and everything else, this actor and this stage, you know, this writer and everything else that he has for you. He knew that. He knew that he was going to be royal descent before we even knew that I was going to be conversations wrong. And when we look back over our life and you think about like when you were younger and when you really look back now, it's like, it was always working out. Yeah. So all of our
we had no idea.
We're all connected. It all connects and it works out.
Yeah, and it's funny because I mean, you see the times that we're in, what we're going through as George Floyd, and we've been going through this for years.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, as far as like, but it's funny that when I first started Royal Descent, God also gave me this. Mm-hmm. He said in his word, still in Genesis, he was speaking to Abram before he changed his name to Abraham. He said, thy seed. He said, no surety, thy seed will be a stranger in the land is not theirs. Mm-hmm. And they shall serve them, and they shall afflict them for 400 years. But I'll come back and judge those, and you will come out with great substance. That's the time that we're in right now. That's why royal descent is necessary for chosen people to walk in their power and stop believing the narratives that's been placed upon us. We are a powerful people. This country was built off of our back. No matter how much they try to say that they, you know, and I'm not coming from I'm just coming from a place of truth. Mm-hmm. You know, some of the most greatest inventions made that makes evolve the way that it did was created by a black man.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So it's one thing to see all these things, but it's another thing to know and to walk in that. We're the number one consumers in America, maybe in the world. You know what I mean? And knowing that, you know, nothing's cool unless we say it's cool. We are the culture. Absolutely. This is things that we must know as a people. We must understand the power that we have.
Right.
That's the only way that you'll be able to change the narrative of everything that's going on in this world. But but like I said, 400 years slavery started when? 16.
Don't get me.
19. You know. 2019. Actually, April the 1st, around the time all this coronavirus and all this stuff started. You think this is God's work, hands at work. Mm-hmm. And people need to understand that, and they need to be ready. And the reason why God has put the world on pause is for us to sit down and not for us to come closer to Him and draw closer to Him. You know what I'm saying? The reason why, you know, He wants us to have that relationship with Him so He can know so we can hear from him and we can know what's next.
Nah, man.
His plan for us, for this great substance, because we know we serve a God that cannot lie and will not lie.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So we got to know what we know. We got to walk in the power. We got to know that we're God's chosen people and be ready to walk in that power.
Mm-hmm.
Unit.
Amen. So I'm talking to two visionaries in the virtual building, and I'm excited. Take me through, or us through, what was it like when you had your first visions of royal descent, right? And God's giving you images and logos and events and websites from actually having it in your hand, packaging and mailing it out, mailing your orders out and stuff. Like, walk us through that.
Tell you this, man, it's nothing but God. Because like I said, I was clueless of what to do.
Mm-hmm.
Even down to the designs, you know, and I'm pretty sure, you know, I mean, if you look on my Instagram, you follow my page, and, you know, notice, I mean, you probably see the different designs that I come out with. That's all God. That's all God. Sometimes I'll be like, man, where did this even come from? You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I just, at the same time, you know, Royal Descent, let me be 100% honest with you. Royal Descent brand is bigger than that's why God allowed me to name it Royal Descent brand. It's bigger than the clothing line.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? The clothing line is a vehicle.
Start.
It's more the message. You know, the message, getting the message out there, you know, and everything else. I mean, like I said, it's still unfolding. We don't know. I mean, I don't know the future. So, you know, everything's still unfolding. What's God's, you know, do in my life or do in our lives, you know? As like, you know, as far as like the first piece of clothing, man, when I first seen my first T-shirt, man, I was like, man. And then, you know, I always had like a sense of style. You know,
okay.
Wow. I'm
you know,
wow, since
so
I met him.
you know,
y'all two though. I always watch y'all two. Y'all stay fly. That's some raw, authentic truth.
Wow.
You know, so all I really did, you know, I watch with the young boys what they like and stuff like that, but I put my twist on it.
Put a little twist on it.
I put my twist on it, and you know, thank God, you know, they like it. You know, because you know these young got their own way of doing things, you know. So
right.
yeah, but it's like they like it, man. They like it, man. They like everything it stands for, and it's a blessing. You know, I give all glory.
Amen.
Yes. So
and hey,
your first shipment, babe.
I'm gonna tell you, man. First, I always been a driven type of guy. Like if I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna put my all into it. I'm not gonna half step and all that stuff like that. So I mean, my first shipment, you know, I was in the streets. I'm out the trunk. You know, I'm out the trunk. You know, starting out. You know, I mean, I feel like, you know, if you really look back on a lot of, you know, I mean, different clothing brands, like even down to FUBU, and I, you know, I was reading about, you know, FUBU and how he standed out. You know, he really didn't have the money to go into some events, so he would sit out in front of the vendor clothing, and people would walk by and check his stuff out and stuff like and things. And you know, to eventually, I think Carl Kanai seen his stuff and invited him in on his ticket or whatever. And fast forward, boom, we got FUBU. You know what I'm saying? So it's basically like, you know, it's just all about, you know, just being driven and being passionate about what you're doing, you know, and just will to work. You know, if God placed it on you to do it, you know what I'm saying? You know, you gotta have that will. You know, faith without works is dead. So you gotta be ready to work that. You can't expect things to be handed to you. So first, I was just in the street. I was out the trunk. However it went. And then, you know, actually, one of my sisters on here, Jamise, Lyell, author Jamise Lyell, her and my wife was sitting up one night, and I think, was it Brandis or you and Jamise, and y'all basically doing the website for me.
My sister.
Oh, it was you and Brandis? Okay, so they was up doing, you know.
Brandis.
Miss Shop Lavishly.
At Shop Lavishly.
Yeah.
Come on.
So they was up, creating a website for me or whatever, because I wasn't really computer savvy at that time, so created the website for me, and eventually I learned how to do it myself. My first shipment ordered off the website, and man, it was crazy, man. I was so excited, man. Just to go to the post office and be mailing off a package, my first tea, or it happened like that, man. And I just kept on moving forward. Then eventually I started learning the website myself, and I started putting my little twist on it and all that stuff. But man, yeah, I mean, I get excited about it. I'm sorry. I'm pretty sure you know.
You should, man. Yes.
Yeah. Every day.
It's exciting. When you giving birth to continuously growing and improving vision, it's exciting.
Yeah, I mean, because I love to create. And I don't bored easily, so I love to create. So, this is like the vehicle. I mean, I used to, well, but I love to create. I'm a
Wait a minute.
Yeah, I used to rap and all things of that. But I'm a writer also, so.
Okay. You're a ghostwriter now, right? So now.
Now past that stage, so now I got another vehicle that I could focus my creative energy into.
So gifted.
You know what I'm saying? And it's still urban, it's still hip hop, it's still everything that I love.
Okay.
Just to keep it 100.
Yeah. All right, let's transition a little bit. Kashia, can you talk about Conversations and how that came about?
Conversations, raw, authentic truth. Oh, Jesus Christ. Conversations was established in 1978 when I was born. Actually, before. I just didn't know it. But it was established, it was birthed, the birthing, and it's still being birthed in 2018. And to be honest, bro, Conversations was birthed out of a hard place. I know it. But it was established, it was birthed, the birthing, and it's still being birthed in 2018. And to be honest, bro, Conversations was birthed out of a hard place. A really hard place during that time in 2018. One of the darkest places of things going on in our life. You know what I'm saying? I mean, every kind of thing was going on in our life, and being thrown at us, where I literally thought I was losing my mind. So when God gave it to me, He actually showed it to me in the spirit. I'm just keeping it 100. He gave me a vision of Conversations, and it blew my mind, almost scared me. Have you ever got something so big from God and it scared you?
I know the feeling.
It scared me, and I was like, me? God? And I instantly got scared. I'm gonna give you the short version. I was just so fearful when He showed it to me. I called my mom and my sister, and a lot of times what I do is I write visions down that God gives me. I'll write it down. He says, write the vision, make it plain.
Yeah, make it plain.
I write them down, and even before I knew that, because He's been doing this to me for many years, and I would just write down even before I really understood that, to write the vision and make it plain. And I wrote it down. I called my mom. I called my sister. So excited, and I drove up their house and I started sharing the vision with them. Like, oh my God, I can't believe God is showing me this to do this for His people. So pretty much, short version. Conversations was birthed out of a dark place, and God was like, I could hear God so softly. He said, I graced you to do it. So even though I was scared of thinking of what could go wrong, I was just, how the enemy would just bombard.
Yeah.
The Holy Spirit said to me, I was sitting at this table when He said it to me, that I graced you to do it. And in that moment, the peace that transcends, surpasses all understanding. Bro.
Now, for the people that don't know, can you tell them what Conversations actually is?
Absolutely. Conversations is raw, authentic truth. Conversations, it's so many, oftentimes, right? We all have a testimony. We all have, right? And oftentimes what the enemy will do to us, the enemy will bombard our brains. He'll place shame on us.
Yeah.
You know, and there's no need, but because our stories and our testimony is our experiences. So the enemy will place shame on us because of the things, whether it was traumatizing, whatever the past experiences are, he'll try to place shame on us that, you know what I'm saying, to make us not open our mouth, right?
Right.
And trick, you know what I'm saying? The enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy. That story that we all have individually, because we all have a testimony, it's based off of Revelation 12:11. We're overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the
word of our testimony.
So if you're suppressing that testimony and that story and you're keeping it to you for your, how can you ever help the next person?
Right.
You know, how can you ever be an example for the next person that if God did it for me, he'll do it for you? How can you ever be an example to the next person that God is a waymaker? How can you ever be an example to the next person that he's a miracle worker? How could I ever, if I didn't go through anything, you know what I'm saying, the trying times that I've been through, my 2 promises upstairs that shouldn't die, you understand, 1 pound, 8 ounces. If I never went through these shameful, if you will, experiences, how would anybody know I almost lost my life twice and God is Jehovah Rapha? How would any of us know that if we didn't go through these experiences? So what God said is, God said to me, people are masquerading in deception.
Yes.
That's what, when we're ashamed and we're keeping that stuff, we're perpetrating a fraud, as the world was saying. We're masquerading in deception, and God did not intend. How can he get the glory out of us masquerading in deception? How can he get the glory out of us never sharing our experiences? So God said, I'm going to use you as a vessel, right? I'm going to, all of who you are, how I created you, all of that, I'm going to use that for my glory. He said.
Yes.
So it's pretty much people, you've been to my events,
Mm-hmm.
and it's having events, and we have like raffles, and we have music, and we have entertainment, but we pray first. We make the environment conducive for peace and healing and all of that, because we already know we're all bringing something to the table. So what we make the environment conducive for people to be able to share. And the goal is, when we share, freedom in us sharing. And that's what people don't realize. The enemy comes to kill, steal, destroy. God came so we can have life and have
that more abundantly.
So think about that. God came so that we can have life and have it more abundantly. Enemy came to kill, steal, and destroy.
Right.
And his word says that we're overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our. So if we're keeping those experiences and our stories to ourselves, how can I help you, Calvin?
Absolutely.
Help me if we're ashamed of that thing.
Yeah.
Because that story isn't for us. That testimony isn't for us. It's for the next person. And God's lives was going to be changed. Because you got to think, when it comes to us having different experiences in our life, traumatic, whatever, sometimes shame comes in. All different things will bombard our mind. And sometimes people succumb to those things that bombard their mind.
Right.
Right? Unfortunately. Right? So God's just using me as a vessel, man, to let people know, man, God wants us to walk in our rawest, authentic form and in his truth. So raw, I said, Daddy, what does that mean? Like, I'm still mean. And we were driving down the street and I said, baby, God told me what raw mean. He's, oh my God, I was so excited. Raw is the purest form of who Calvin is. The Holy Spirit said it's the purest form of who you are. raw is the purest form to who everybody on this line is. And God wants us to get to that place that we are walking in authenticity, because guess what? When people see Calvin, you know my story with you.
Yeah.
How I have always, it was a connection.
Yes.
Right? Always. I love to see people walking in their rawest form, right? Where people may think maybe even something about me is weird. I embrace that.
Yes. Love it.
God does things well.
We are truly a peculiar people. Come on.
Are definitely a peculiar people, right?
God meant that thing when he wrote it. He meant that when he said it.
Really get understanding about that thing, but I just want people to know that your story and your testimony is not for you. Okay? You are authentic and true to who God created you to be. Because a lot of the times we battle with identity crisis. That's another thing. Because we're looking to the left, we're distorted. We're getting a distorted vision of what things should really. It's freedom when we. It's freedom in it's freedom, Calvin. That's a go. Freedom in who you are, Calvin, and you walking in your raw, purest form, whether anybody understand it or not.
Talk.
It's freedom in your story, your testimony. It's freedom in us being authentic. You know what I'm saying? Authentically true to who he created us to be. And I just want all people to understand that. I want everybody to understand that. When you're authentic, it helps the next person to be free in who they are. Ashamed in who we are, that's a trick from the pit of hell. And God is, you know what I'm saying? God just wants us to know who we are. He wants us to walk in that thing and not think of him.
Yeah, everything has
definitely has a process, man.
And God, we got to understand that don't nothing touch your life unless God allow it. So a lot of things that you experience in life, be bad, God allowed you to go through that. He allowed you to go, not growing up without a father. He allowed you to go through a mother on drugs. He allowed you to go through streets. You know what I'm saying? Just so he can have that testimony, get that testimony out of your life. He allow you. Sometimes God allow you to go through things, for his glory. Because somebody else is going to need that. You can't go back and talk to somebody on the street or somebody who mother's on drugs or somebody who grew up unless you experience that for yourself. Other than that, you just making an assumption.
You're not relatable.
So God allow you to go through these different testimonies in life for his glory. You know what I'm saying? To get that story so you can go back and help somebody else.
Yeah. And sometimes I think we got to change our perspective when we're talking about God, when we're talking about the creator. Because if God does all things well, he knows just how much pressure to apply to the clay. He knows. We don't understand it, but he knows all those different experiences that we go through. I believe like when we grow and we mature, because it's like my husband said, it's definitely a process. Because not Disney, but we will forever be growing and forever be processed as long as God is breathing breath in us every single day.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So God knows how much pressure to apply. Wise woman taught me how much pressure to my mom apply to the clay. He knows for each one of us, we belong to him. And
shout out to the Bradshers.
Hallelujah. Like, even though we might not understand it, because for me, what we were going through this, I'm like, God, like literally a conversation with God, just my conversation with him is authentic, right? And it's literally like, because he knows us. Father, and he knows us better than ourselves. So I was like, God, like, because what we experienced was traumatic to see, to go through. And it was just toiling. And I'm like, Daddy, I know you. I trust you. You have spared my life multiple times over. I don't look like the things that I have been through. My husband don't look like he's been through. My children, them promise, their covenant promise from God. They don't look like what they've been through. You understand? Oxygen and lung disease. But God promised me, and he promised me they would be whole. He didn't tell me what I was going to have to go through. Tell me, I didn't even know that we were going to go through the traumatic experience that we went through. God allowed it to touch. He allowed it. And guess he worked that thing out for his glory.
Amen.
And he worked it out for his glory. He's still working it out. So I just pray that encourage. Because
absolutely. And you know what's amazing? Oh, go ahead.
Oh, God need earthly vessels, man.
Mm-hmm.
Treasures.
Earthly vessels,
absolutely.
And you have to be, he give us some testimony. That's sometimes we're so condemning of one another, because their life don't look like.
Absolutely.
I mean,
and that's a trick from the enemy.
Everybody has to go through their process. That's where they are at that moment. That don't mean that's where God.
Yeah.
God's gonna take where they want, and they got to get what they need to get, or God got to get what He need to get out of in that moment. They got to learn that lesson in that moment, so God can use them.
You have to go through the process. Thank you, Holy Spirit. You have to go through the process to be processed.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, because the Dan you see today is not the Dan you would have back in the day.
We will be here for another hour.
Yeah.
Dan you see today ain't the Dan I was back then. Back in the day.
The
process, man.
Absolutely.
Once you learn that relationship with God, and He start bringing you out of those things, but He allow you to go through them things. Like He hardened Pharaoh's heart. He allow us to go through these things for His testimony, for His glory.
Yeah. So I'm sorry. It was perspective. That's what I was saying. When we going through these things, it's about, I think, as we grow and we mature, perspective. Because the way I was just a couple months ago, I don't even need to go years. Just a couple months ago, I'm not that woman. And as I was laying in bed, I said, God, with what we went through this past week, like, God, I trust you. I know who you are. You've shown yourself to me many times before. You are this to me. Your peace, your love, you're a healer. You are all this. I know you, God, but I don't understand. Like, I'm scared. I don't even know why I'm scared. Like, it was traumatic. And I said, God, I trust you. I said, God, I laid on the bed. I said, Daddy, I do not understand right now, but I trust you.
Yes.
And I trust that you're going to work it out. Either way, it's out for my good.
Either way
is going to work out. And it's perspective, like, as you grow.
Yes. And what's so powerful? When you first told me about the first conversations, I was like, okay, this is dope. And then, because I had been to so many gatherings, in my lifetime that sounded similar. So I'm like, okay, when you get the saints together, people clam up or they get over churchified and all of that. And when I tell you, when we got up in that building and it started, I have never experienced what I experienced that night. It was like the flow and the comfort level, the peace across the room was ridiculous. And when you pulled the questions out of the hat or the bucket, right? We all writing our questions when we first get there. Then you start pulling the topics out the bucket. And it was just like dominoes. We ready. We ready. We telling our testimonies. We're piggybacking off of each other, encouraging somebody across the room, impromptu prayer when it needed to happen based on something somebody shared. It was dope. It was like not 1 minute where I felt like there was a pull where people are trying to figure out, oh, okay, should I share? Should I not share? I'm scared. They gonna judge me. It didn't feel like that, not 1 second. And it was amazing. And so thank both of y'all for hearing the voice of God again and just moving the lives that y'all are blessing. So Dan, I want to go back to you with Royal Descent. And so you've already talked about how there's a bigger vision, there's a bigger vision of getting the message, the word of God out, And so what has blown your mind the most since taking that leap and starting the clothing line? What has God smacked you upside the head with a couple of times? You was like, oh, I didn't see that blessing coming. Like, oh, it can be like this.
And I can tell you one recently.
Yes.
I'm gonna give you one recently.
Jesus.
Like as far as like, you know, because I'm used to, like I said, I'm a union HVAC guy, so I'm used to working. Like about, you know, people were dying, man. People were dying, and you know, I live around my family, you know, my in-laws, and you know, go to visit my mother. You know, you know they're older, so I had to sit when Governor Hogan shut down Maryland. You know, you know, I basically told my job, I said, man, I'm gonna take some time off because you know the homeschooling and all that stuff. So I took some time off, you know, make sure my kids get acclimated, you know, to everything that's going on. And so I was off for 1 week, and then you know, I'm not used to being, you know, I've been working since I was probably 21 years old, so I'm not used to being idle and being, you know, I'm used to getting up going, and so I started toying with, should I go back to work while we're going? You know, because like I said, I don't want to bring nothing home to my family because of everything that I'm exposed to at work, and I don't want to bring nothing home, you know, to my in-laws, thing of that nature. You know, and I enjoy being around my in-laws and my family and things of that nature. So I don't want to quarantine from them, you know. So I had some things that I had to toy, you know, Kashia telling me, go ahead, tell him, lay you off. Even the guy said, you know, woman said he'll lay me off if I want him. He said he don't want to, but he will lay me off. But I'm so used to working that I got afraid of the unknown. Because that's not a position that I've been in. You know, so the clothing line, Colin Bryant's doing well, bringing money in and everything, but still, you know, it's that thing that you're used to that you scared. So I eventually, you know, 1 week, one of our friends had got, I think Kashia's good friend had got it or whatever. And I was about to go back that Monday. And I was like, man, maybe
and her baby.
Her and her son got it. And so I said, maybe hold off for a while. But to make a long story short, her I was about to go back the next month, the following Monday. No, actually, a friend of ours' friend passed away from it. Oh yeah. And that same day, Kashia's cousin passed away from it.
Said it was asthma, but
they said it was asthma, but came to find out that it was COVID. So I made the decision to my neighbor lost a lot of his family. I mean, his mother, his brother, and his sister to COVID. You know, decision to my family, you know, for my family, leave my job. So I called to lay me off, you know, and God showed me it, man. And it's like,
no. Can we back up to and Kelvin said, shit, when we get on here, you know how we go. I gotta back up real quick, bro. Because my husband, God, we've been together for 24 years. We were 18 years old. So man has always been a provider, a protector. Like he's always been that man for his for his family and his friends. That's who he is. He can be sick. I've seen my husband sick with the flu and will still get up and go out with a body and go to work for his family. It's just innate. It's in him. That's who he is. And so that's why he told. So I just want to keep it real. That's why he's so hard, because he's used to going out and getting it. So kind of weighing on him, tell him how you 4 o'clock, he was sitting on the bed after all of what he said. I felt his heaviness.
Just a fear known when you're used to doing a thing, you know, and you got the clothing brand, it's selling, but you know what I'm saying? But I still always had this, my thing that I've been doing for 3 years.
And God teaching you to trust,
you know
in
what I'm saying?
Also,
so it was a learning lesson for me. You know, so after that happened, I called my job and I said, man, you know, I had a conversation with him. I told him, I said, man, you can go ahead and lay me off. You know, because at the end of the day, I said, it's touching a lot of people's lives around me. And I said, at the end of the day, I don't want to bring nothing home to my family. You know, I might could be able to fight it, but who knows? They can be able to fight it. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to bring nothing home to my family. So I said, you can go ahead and yeah, I said, you can go ahead and lay me off, man. That's what he did. He laid me off. Man, God showed me a thing, because it was God, the one that was, nudging me to do it. But me, I was flesh, and I was like doing my thing that I was consistent, and I know where the money coming from. You know what I'm saying? Man, soon as I told him to lay me off, man, my business took off, man, and it's been flourishing ever since. Flourishing ever since, better and better and better. You know, I was telling me, he just telling me, lean on me, trust in me.
The Lord with all my heart, lean up. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not.
Lean not unto your own understanding.
In all thy ways. I mean,
I did some things. I did a lot of things that if I was working, I wouldn't have done.
Yeah.
I would have been content with the way that I was moving. So since I've been off, man, I got a lot accomplished, man, and it's really been a blessing. And it's about being obedient, man, and trusting in God.
He showed you something.
He showed me.
He exceeded his expectations.
Absolutely. Now, y'all, thank y'all again for y'all time. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Dan and Kashia Bradsher-Hall of Royal Descent Conversations. And Instagram is we about to hit that time. They about to shut us down. I love y'all, and I'm excited for everything God is doing in y'all life, everything that y'all haven't even seen yet. And we'll definitely talk. Again, this has been the Faith Factor with today's guest, Royal Descent. We'll catch y'all at the next episode. All right, love y'all.
Thank you so much.
All right, y'all take care. Bye.